I've never heard anyone say the M2 needed more of anything, but BMW have gone and created the M2 Competition with a new, more powerful engine and a host of other chassis tweaks that could elevate this car into automotive greatness. Certainly up there with the M stars of the past. Well, let's find out, shall we? Folks, time to test the mettle of the new BMW M2 Competition. Heading out of pit lane at Sydney Motorsport Park. Now I've brought Adam Davis, the head product and communications guy from BMW Australia, along with us. Not only is he a BMW tragic from way back, but he's an invaluable source of knowledge. And Adam, first of all, we've got a new engine in this car. Tell us about that. We've gone from a single turbo now to a dual turbo unit out of the M3 M4.
Yeah, correct, mate. So the previous M2 was part of the older engine family, the N55 engine family. The M2 Competition's moved to the twin turbo unit that, yeah, as you say, is common to the M3 and M4. So in this form, it's 302 kilowatts. And 550 Newton meters as Tone does his best to destroy my tyres. That's alright. Got to enjoy it, don't you?
Well, I mean, this is a driver's car, always has been.
Yep.
The M2, ever since it first popped its head above water. And it still is, but it's got that's a lot more grunt. That Newton meter, that up rating of Newton meters from 465 to 550, that's huge, because that's the, as you said before, that's the M3 M4
torque
kit.
Yeah, correct. So it certainly matches the M4 for torque. It's a little bit less power, but the size difference, and I think the further focus in the M2 Competition chassis, it really shows up on a track like this. We're in some tight, twisty stuff now, but it's really agile sitting here watching Tony navigate the corners.
Was it a requirement by the customers for more kit, or is this just what you do?
Yeah, it's interesting. So competition packages have been around for a little while. The previous Gen M5, for example, you could order with a competition package, but with M3 and M4, it was actually the product guys in Australia decided we'll call M3 and M4 competition packages, competition models in their own right. And that was really successful for us, to the point where M3 and M4 now you can get a pure with the competition package, or you could get the competition model. So the standard engine's no longer available in Australia.
And I've noticed we're revving up to well beyond 7,000.
Yeah, so Redline 7.6 with the new S55 engine for the M2. And yeah, it revs, so peak torque sort of, you feel it coming on pretty strong around 2,000, but it holds through to about 5.5, and then that power curve really maximises. So in terms of other kit that we've changed on this, we've got a new M Sport brake system. So you've got 6 piston front and 4 piston rears on some bigger discs.
Right. That's an optional thing though, isn't it?
Correct. So this car we're experiencing now has them.
Right.
And really good for track use, as we're seeing now.
Very good.
But also we have the carbon fibre reinforced strut brace from the M3 M4 as well. And there's some specific suspension geometries, cambers, slightly stiffer spring rates, and sort of makes the car still very livable on the road, but when you're doing stuff like this, you could do it all day and then drive it home.
Because all that extra kit does add some weight to this vehicle.
Yeah,
it's 55 kgs.
Yeah, so additional cooling in the twin turbo setup as well accounts for a big chunk of that.
Right, but you don't have to worry about that because it's got such a massive torque uplift.
Yeah, correct. So what is it, 550 against 465, and you could get 500 on overboost with the standard M2, but it wasn't there all the time.
No.
So I think this is a pretty big shift in performance.
I'm really enjoying this, Adam.
Yeah, I think
I've got to say, it's just such a reliable car, you know?
pliable, amenable, and strong power. But I think it's the agility that really stands out to me anyway.
And the fact that you can just rev it all the way up.
Yeah. And the twin clutch transmission as well, so we can also still get them in a manual. We've got a couple here today with the 6-speed manual, so it's a little bit lighter. I think at this level, the twin clutch is where the majority of customers go for stuff like this.
It is a brilliant car. I mean, I've done more laps than what we've done today. We'll head in now. We'll do a cooling lap. You want to do?
Cooling lap's great.
But it's just, as I said in my intro, I've never heard anyone say they needed more in an M2.
Yeah, correct.
And yet you guys went out and put, a bucket load more torque.
Yes.
Almost 100 Newton meters, 90 Newton meters odd.
Yep.
A fair bit more kilowatts, which makes the difference in a vehicle of this size. But more importantly, you've tweaked the chassis to deal with the extra grunt, the extra power, the extra torque, the extra twist on the chassis.
Yeah,
and that's really important, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not too concerned whether this car can do 0 to 100 in 4.2, which it does, or 4.4 or 4.3.
Yep.
But it's how much fun a driver and owner can have with a vehicle like this when they do, perhaps like this, a track day at Sydney Motorsport Park or wherever.
Yep.
Could be Winton in Victoria. And they have real, genuine fun without being intimidated. That's the big thing.
Yeah, correct.
It is not to be intimidated by your own performance car. And I think that's where this thing, with all that extra grunt, I was a bit sort of nervous about it. You know, does it need it? But you know, you just get so much more out of it.
Yeah, it's really friendly, isn't it?
Very friendly. And I mean, I'd love to. I notice you haven't told me to switch the M2 on because you want to look after these tyres. You saw us getting a little bit.
That's right.
A little bit out of whack there, but with M2. Which is a save setting, we can save all the settings, right?
Yeah, we saved dynamic mode into M2, so earlier you got the full experience. We'll just head up here.
It's just, I mean, it's not that much more money. We're talking $99,000 for the Pure.
Yeah, so the Pure's coming soon, and we've kept the full competition specification in terms of suspension, chassis, engine outputs and things like that. There's just some small changes to standard equipment. And
$104,000 for the car. M2 Competition, for this car, which has what? M Sport seats, which are unbelievably comfortable.
Yeah, they're new to this car.
Well, it's got the padding, as well as the massive bolster support on seat and seat back.
Yeah,
and that's what I really love about the car. And of course, this DCT, you haven't touched that because you know there's nothing to do to that gearbox. And if you put it in M2 with everything basically set to sport and track, it just is a wonderful car to let loose.
It is. It's good fun, mate.
And not a lot more money. That's what you've hardly increased it at all. 104 grand.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd love 99 to be this car, but that's, if you want that, you get the Pure, right?
Yeah, correct. So that's coming to us very soon, mate.
Well, I think you'll possibly have a queue.
I think, judging from the initial reaction, I think we're going to hopefully see a lot of M2s out here competing on track days and Targa events.
Well, my next car to hop into is the M5. That's got 750 Newton meters and 460 kilowatts. Yeah. So let's get into that. Are you happy to?
I might get a Portuguese tart first.
Well, we love those. We do love those, don't we?
We do.
All right, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah.
See you soon.